Welcome to As the Chakras Spin, a podcast that connects life's experiences as they relate to the seven major chakras physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. I am your host, Tashi K.D. Cooper.
Peace and light, everyone. My name is Tashi K. D. Cooper, and I am the vibrational midwife, aka Reiki Woman. Yeah. Welcome back to episode 5 of As the Chakras Spin. Today we are looking at the third chakra entitled the Solar Plexus Chakra. Okay? The color is yellow for this particular chakra, and it's located, the sternum, the bone that the ribs connect to. So that pointy, the ending of it at the bottom is called the xiphoid process. Okay, so if you go there and then you go to your belly button, halfway between those 2 points will be where the solar plexus chakra is, and it does have a front component and a back component. Okay, and like I say in every episode, if you're new to energy or really don't know much about chakras, there will be a link in the description that you can click on that will provide guidance. Okay? Now, body parts associated with this particular chakra would be your spleen, stomach, liver, gallbladder, and small intestine. So any body part pretty much related to digestion. We'll get into the qualities after I introduce to you my guest. Okay? So for those of you that are watching, I know you're wondering who this gorgeous woman is next to this other gorgeous woman, right? And those that are tuning in and you know that I'm having a guest, you're like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Right? Well, her name is Kelly S. White. And she is a New Orleans native, second generation educator, choreographer, and researcher. She holds a BFA in dance performance and choreography from the University of Southern Mississippi and an MA in dance education from NYU. Okay? She's a former director of fine and performing arts at Young Audiences Upper School. Kelly has performed with renowned companies such as Ashe Dance Theater Collective and Kumbuka African Drum and Dance Collective. She is co-founder of Evolve Diaspora, founder of the Balbancha Dance Festival. I like to say Balbancha. Okay? And currently serves as professor of dance at Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, and director of education at Young Audiences of Louisiana. A devoted mother to her bright daughter Morgan, Kelly brings over 20 years of experience in arts education and cultural leadership. Put your hands together, y'all. For Kelly S. White. Woo! Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited. All right. So, you guys know how I do. I like to just get right to it. So, we're just going to jump in. And, like I said, after I introduced my guest today, I was going to get into the qualities related to the solar plexus chakra. Okay. So, some qualities associated with this chakra are self empowerment, leadership, discernment, decision making, adapting to change, digestion, joy, clear thinking, and a calm state of being. Today, with my guests, we are going to look at leadership from personal and professional perspectives, as well as look at the value of a calm state of being and feeling empowered within. Kelly, what does leadership mean to you?
Okay, so there are many roads, or I could say roads to being a leader. Sometimes I can be the facilitator for my team or a guide or a mentor to them. I believe in servant leadership, so also I can be a team member right along working with them. I always say a beautiful team is when you can't see who the leader is. So a person can walk into a place and not know who is the director, and maybe go feel that confident, or I would say can see the confidence exudes from everybody in on a team, that they feel comfortable going to anyone to ask for help or to get support, or need met. Sometimes my role comes into being a thought partner. I can flesh out things with my other co-leaders who are on the leadership team, or to be a visionary, creating new programming or new ideas. Of course, I also believe in helping a person up. So I'm not by myself. I want to groom people to continue to move forward. No one should be stagnant in their position. I feel like if a person's stagnant and they're not growing, then they're not going to work to their best level that they can actually put out, right? So,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay, I like that. And I like helping people up. I love the way you phrase that. Thank you. So I feel like whether we have specific familial, professional, or spiritual titles, that we all have to show up as leaders for ourselves as it pertains to just surviving and or thriving on this planet, right? And self-preservation is key. So, with that being said, how does leadership show up personally for you on a daily basis? Like, in other words, I should maybe rephrase that and say, how do you show up for yourself?
Whew. First of all, work in progress on this end, because I am a daughter of a Virgo. So I have the worker bug feature in me, that I can work and work and work and work. And I'm like, now I'm learning how to put up boundaries.
Okay.
Um, I think it's very important to figure out your peak hours of operation of how you work, and then to listen and understand your body. And sometimes you just need to decompress, sometimes you need time off. And so to advocate for those things, advocate for yourself, right? So self advocacy is key. Um, and then I know we would love to say that we do this alone, but it's like we need community. We cannot thrive always in isolation. If you
Sure.
do not feed yourself or feed anything, it will die eventually. So I have a community of elders and friends that I go to and lean on sometimes for support, for guidance,
Sure.
and sometimes just a vent, because you just sometimes just got to get it out. Because as a leader, you got to always, like, sometimes you got to just be quiet and listen and take it in, and and take the blame for some things that's not actually yours to be taken, right? But then you need a
Sure.
moment to release. So to find those avenues to have that moment of release, um, and that whole thing of mentorship is very crucial, important, because
Yes.
you know you 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 need moments to check in with yourself. Also, you need some moments to check in with other people who can
Sure.
actually help you troubleshoot and figure out things. So showing up for myself is like, again, a place of a self accountability, right? Being real and checking in, but also knowing that I cannot do this on my own.
Sure.
I'm not created to do this on my own. Some people, they feel
Sure.
like that. Not
It's
me.
not. I got
No.
you. No, no, I hear you. Our first guest, she mentioned that in terms of healing the mental state, and
Hmm.
that it's not always just by yourself.
Hmm.
That we need community. Um,
Exactly.
so that's important. Community is important. So thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
So do you have any personal mantras, affirmations, prayers, or exercises that you do at times to light up the leader in you on those days when you feel like you just don't feel like showing up?
Oh yeah, I do. First of
Oh,
all, my everyday I do gratitude. Gratitude in the morning. As soon as I open my eyes, I'm like, thank you, Creator, thank you, God. I thank myself I thank for my family. Like I go through a whole list because gratitude is where you kind of like have that moment of rewiring yourself. And then
Yes.
there are some other moments that I tap into, like I would say positive affirmations. So as I'm getting ready in the morning with my daughter, I'll have it on the speaker playing loud, like a little YouTube 15, 20 minutes that we're getting ready in the house and quiet and, moving forward. But the affirmations are rolling and rolling and rolling, which is
Sure.
great because for her, it gives her the opportunity to also recalibrate her system because she's 11. Well, you don't know, y'all don't know out there, but I have a preteen. She's 11, so that is needed. Bet because she's feeling herself and all the feeling ways to feel herself right now.
Yes, yes.
And then my ultimate mantra is, God, show me how good it will get. Not can get, will. Like it will get there. It will get better. Show me. And I say that, like, my friends also know that's a coin that I say a lot in my coworkers. Like, God show me how good it will get. Whatever
Yes.
it is, I know it will get better. I know you have a beautiful place for me in this world, and I know it's not always going to be about hardship. So God, show me how good it would get, and bit by bit, right? And
Yes.
then if I gotta tap in, not like some music and a good little shakedown. I'm from New Orleans. So you gotta dance it out. You gotta play the music, and Kendrick Lamar could be on there, or it could be some jazz or some Arisha music. But the music really helps get me in my zone. And
Yes.
soca, nothing like some soca, get a little wine on before I walk out that door, and take
Yes. I love it. And I'm glad you brought that element in because you're a dancer,
yeah.
So that just makes so much sense, and thanks for sharing that cuz sometimes it's nothing like cuz I can be kind of goofy and silly on my own, and I like to break out in my own African dance solos in the middle of getting ready for the day too. And so
Exactly.
it does kind of help to lift your spirit, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, okay. And so would you say that how you show up for yourself
Mhm.
carries over into being a successful leader in your household as a single mother?
Yeah, I mean, my daughter is my shadow. Like, I have one child, I don't have multiples, right? So she is definitely front seat role to my life. She has come to work with me multiple times. She was in, like since an infant, I would say since the womb, have been a part of my journey as a educator, as a dancer, as a choreographer. Like she was there, even when I have to do rehearsals. I'm rolling a stroller in back in the day, and or I had to teach a class. She has witnessed every blessing,
Sure.
and she's also witnessed every mistake. So
Sure.
all that to say, you know she is definitely watching, and I think she's learning from me. And also
Okay.
she knows that we're a team. Like, especially sometimes getting out the house, because a baby likes a lamp. Like she will take her time, she'll walk in circles, she'll collect her thoughts. And I'm like, I have to get out the house by a certain time, Morgan. Like, we need to go. And so
Right.
I'm like, we are a team. Like, you can't sit here and forget that your other teammate has to go make the money to keep the
You're
lights
right.
on,
You're
you
right. You're
know?
right.
And having those realistic conversations. So she and I in the car will have some real talks, that I asked her one day this week, I said, do you think I make this look easy? And she said, yes. I said, well, I want you to know it's not easy. I said, but thank you for, thinking that, but it's not easy. So the work that I
Sure.
do covers many parts of our life. And so, with that, even though I make it to her, she looks like it's magical and it's easy, you
Yes.
know, I think she just is okay with seeing every part of me, right?
Yeah.
Um, in addition to that, she, how can I say it? she actually don't understand what I hate to say it this way, but don't understand what one job, one life look like. Like even when she talks about her life in the future, oh mommy, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and I'm like thinking like, mommy does that because she's a single mama, you know. But also
Right.
because I am a person who have, you know, I'm a manifesting generator, so I have multiple things on a fire, and I can do multiple things very well, and I can put some things in action and hand it off
Sure.
someone and pick up something else. So a part of my blueprint is that, but I don't want her to think that that's just the norm, right? So if that's not what
Sure.
she wants to do or be, I will be okay with that, you know? I'm
Sure.
ram- I'm rambling.
No, you're not rambling. And I want to also add that I know that you take out time for yourself. That sometimes there are just days where you guys just chill and
Mhm.
rest and do nothing. So she sees that as well, that resting is important. And I love that sometimes you guys go on your vacations, you go on your outings. So she's seeing your example of not only resting, but also being social and vacationing. And I love that. So she sees you being a mom and she sees you being a leader.
Mhm.
And I just love that she has all that to take in while at the same time you allow her to be herself. You were telling me one day that she's really into the visual arts. Would you like to share that with the audience?
Yeah, so my daughter, first of all, let me just say this morning on Facebook, I put it out there because it was one of her pictures of her first little recital. And I
Hmm.
was like, you know, one of the most proudest moments of my life. But, you know, last summer she had the whole thing of, mommy, I don't want to dance. I want to be a visual artist. I'm like, tear. Because mommy's a dancer, daddy's a mover, he's a martial artist, you know, so tear. And I'm like,
Sure.
okay, yeah, all right, no problem. I cried my little gangster tear, and then I wiped it up and like, let's roll. Roll up my sleeves. Let's get it going and popping. You want to be a visual artist. That's how you want to use your talent, right? And she has a
Yes.
natural talent for it. Don't get me wrong. Like I saw
Sure.
it from day one that my baby has a innate ability to be a great artist. Like it's just it oozes
Wonderful.
out her and effortless. So started with the portfolio classes, got all the materials. You know, we're going to London next week. So I'm like, well, there's an art school. I researched it already, and there are art classes. So you're going to go take art classes in London. Like, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this all the way. And
Sure.
because I think what she sees is my passion for the arts and for dance. She's
Yes.
like committed at that level too, because she's down for it. She's like, all right, let's roll, mommy. I want to do this. Like, yes,
Yes.
portfolio class, sign me up. Okay, I don't know what to do with this canvas right now, but I'm gonna figure out, and she's figuring it out, you know, and she's
Hmm.
in her exploration is not always let me go to YouTube. She's figuring it out by like just playing around with the medium, right? And exploring
Yes.
it. And I think it's beautiful, like, you know, how my talent is that I have in me. She sees that like commitment and level of passion, and she's doing it in
Yes.
her own way. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. So let's look at leadership in the professional realm now. You are a well sought after dance instructor and choreographer, founder of an annual dance festival, and you own a travel and tour company where you have hosted groups on excursions in Cuba and New Orleans, Louisiana. You're such a big energy, and I would love to go through everything, but let's just focus in on the instructor and choreographer that travels nationally and internationally, y'all, to teach at conferences and festivals. Like, what is something you learned about leadership in terms of setting your rates and what you'll accept regarding on-site accommodations in terms of teaching spaces and where you lay your head? Like, it's probably kind of like throat chakra because you're speaking up for yourself. But how does that look? How does that form of leadership look within you?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I think I said this already, but I know in my heart what lights me up is to have purpose in my work
Okay.
and to offer or to give to help a community. So, with that, meaning I have flexibility in my fees based on multiple parts, right?
Okay.
So, I look at it whether it's a local thing versus out of town, right?
Sure.
Because out of town, when I'm away from my child, I have to provide childcare,
Sure.
right? So in my fee already it's built in to some type of form of to make sure that child care is taken care of. Plus, I still am able to make some type of profit. You know,
Sure.
you have to think about all those little layers, right? I
Yes.
look at how many classes I have to teach, um, whether it's like in a day or over a series of days, right? Because
Okay.
sometimes I'm just flown out to do one class. I'm like, oh, hit it, quit it, nice, all right, get
Sure.
back on the
Yeah.
plane. Where there's some days I'm there for a couple of days and I'm teaching consecutively, right?
Yes.
Um, who am I working with, or what am I working for, right? So when I go to Cuba, right? And I'm bringing people down. I have an exchange in one of the communities. It's called Marianao. It's one of the marginalized communities in Cuba, where we offer a free class to the students. So I don't charge that, right?
Sure.
Because these kids don't get regular training in dance, and definitely not in dance forms that I'm familiar with. You know, I guess I do Orisha dance and all that, but also like, you know, if I bring down a group person who might be a West African dancer, right? We try to teach them something, or hip hop or jazz, because I'm not just a folkloric dancer. I have a background of ballet, modern jazz, tap, and all of the above. So it's
Sure.
just my calling right now. People love that I teach Orisha dance and folkloric dance. So that's kind of been like the Asper dance, my calling, and I
Yes.
heed to that calling, right? I'm
Yes.
looking at so with that, my prices vary on all those major components, right?
Yes.
Along looking at my accommodations. Number one, I cannot my work is spiritual, meaning I'm an open vessel when I teach. Something about African diaspora dance with the drums and the song and also the dance. A lot of that
Yes.
stuff is carried not only in class format, it started at a spiritual practice,
Sure.
right? It started in community and it was meant for that purpose. Now, what has happened as westernized world, we want to learn in different ways and we appreciate it when it gets mounted on stage, so it then becomes artistic form. But the root of it is still spiritual. So
Yes.
knowing that I'm an open vessel, I cannot share a room with anybody. I can't. Okay? I just can't.
Yes.
If you put me up in a house, I have to have my own space. If you put me in a hotel, I have to have my own space. I'm
Yes.
flexible with those things. As long as it's clean, as long as you provide like healthy food options for me, as long as I can get like you are making sure I get from transportation from the airport to the venue to my place of stay, I'm fine with that. I don't have per se the hard particulars like I must have this writer long list of wants and demands. No,
Sure.
I know my work is mission work. I know it's purpose work. I know that it will bring me in communities that may not be able to afford me, but they deserve still a great experience. I've
Sure.
taught everywhere from kids to adults, um, and so it varies. But my non-negotiables are, you know, making sure that the space that I stay alone, that is clean, right? That whether I am, if you don't have the provided like dance floor for me, which I prefer, like to be in a dance studio or a place that have the appropriate flooring,
Sure.
then I make
Mm-hmm.
sure to protect myself with the shoes, right? And I just do what I can, and I let them know that I might be modifying based on if it's concrete or not, because I'm not going to
Right.
injure myself. So
Right.
there's a lot of parts to it, but you know, I think people need to really, before they start thinking about how much I'm going to charge, why are you doing this work? What is your mission inside this work? Who are the
Yes.
people or the population you want to touch or connect with, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and then, you know, realize that in doing that, you start figuring out what are some of like the ways that you can um, start thinking about your rates. And do realize also, as a part of being a spiritual being or a person walking in this earth, we can't
Yes.
continue to take, because taking will never you and not give. So what is your
Yes.
way of giving back in your craft that's going to continue to bless and elevate you? Because sometimes, you know, people think about money and realize they're not growing or they're not getting more opportunities. It might be because they have not given back to the universe or given back to the craft or made that sacrifice, right? So
Yes.
it's that exchange flow that I want, that I've learned to utilize and do. So, and I have to hone that in on just saying what is, some things are non-negotiable, but some things you have to really, really think about what the mission is.
Sure. Yes. I love that. And I love that part about giving back. I feel like this platform is a platform for me to give back because I'm not asking for anything. I'm just sharing the information free, and the goal is to give real people to share their real life experiences and how these aspects of them can relate to the various chakras. Because I want to demystify just energy and that it's
Exactly.
this invisible thing. I want people to see that everything is connected and we can
Exactly.
connect it to something physical or in service or an act. You know, we can connect all this energetic energy to being an earthly being.
Exactly.
So yeah, so thank you for that, thank you for
No
sharing
problem.
that.
I just want to add one more note.
Yeah.
Um, and just because there's a flex of what I just explained of my how I choose to do my rates and all that, does not mean that I don't know my worth. Oh, I know my worth. It's how I choose to give back and how I choose to have this energy constant flow and exchange. And in doing that, that's how also I know, and I'm grateful of it, that I continue to have doors open for me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank
That's
you
my
for.
little 2 cents on that one.
Yes, yes, and I'm glad you said that because when you were talking before, I was thinking about value and worth. And as a leader, you have to know your value and you have to know your worth. You have to know when sometimes the answer may be no because it doesn't meet certain standards. Because you have to know your value and your worth.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And I have said no a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. And I like that because you said in the beginning, setting boundaries,
Yep.
right? And that is key as a leader or individual. And let me just say, as a leader, remember, we're talking about a leader also from a personal perspective. So
Hmm.
you don't have to be a CEO. You don't have to be a business owner. You know, you can be just you. And because remember, I first asked, how do you show up as a leader for yourself? Like, what are you doing to survive and thrive on this planet? What are some daily routines that you're doing for yourself to show up for yourself? That's leadership. It
Yeah.
starts with you,
Yep.
right? All
Yep.
right. Look, so now I went on my tangent. And so we're going to reel it back in, okay? All right. So I feel like a good leader must remain open and flexible to new ways of executing projects, right? So given that you are about to produce your second annual Balbancha Dance Festival, and let me say, audience, that last year's festival was stellar. Okay, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. I feel that everyone that attended will be back and has probably told friends. Okay, but let me get back to what I was saying. Okay, so given that you're about to produce your second annual dance festival, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from last year that you are looking to alter this year from a leadership perspective?
Woo. Ah. I will say this. Based on talking to my thought partners, feedback from participants, because if you're not getting feedback, then how can you know what you need to do to grow,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I'm a Sag, so I'm very direct and straight, but I could take it too. So, like, tell me what I have to do to be better. That's just
Okay.
who I am. And my daddy was an Aries, so you know he's an ancestor, not transition E by 8, but he was an Aries, so I'm used to the fire. But all that to say, people wanted more. People wanted more, and for me to give them more,
When
I
you
have to.
say more, what more did they want? Can you be specific? I know
Oh,
what you mean, but
they want more classes. They want more opportunities to learn, to dance, to be in community. What is different about my festival in comparison to others is that number one, it focuses on the African diaspora, so it's just not like predominantly West African. It's not
yes.
predominantly Caribbean. I am trying to look at the diaspora as a whole because as an African American, we are children of the diaspora, you
Yes.
know? And so, with that being said, there is West African. There's also stuff from New Orleans. So, our second line dance, not bounce dance, to even Haitian and Afro Cuban, to,
Yes.
God willing, and all the blessings, to Brazilian this year, and I also have
Sure.
someone joining me from Grenada who will be doing like an Afro soca class. So
Yes.
it's gonna be a gamut, which gives morsels. But what's special about my programming, in addition to that, is that not only are you dancing, but you're learning about historical context. You're learning about the dance. You're learning about the song. You're learning. You're having a holistic experience as a learner. Sometimes you go into a dance class and you're like, oh, I just cut it up. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Who am I dancing to? What am I
Right.
saying? Right? So,
Right.
um, and that's like my frustration as a student for many years. Like, until you build those relationships with those teachers, then you learn a little bit more, right? But I
Yes.
think a morsel or two can just help, really give a person an enriched experience. So
Sure.
that's what I love about my program and the reason why it's set up the way it is set up. But I know what the more means that and this is what I am like intentionally praying for and manifesting, is that I need a good team. I
Yes.
can't do it by myself. I didn't start off by myself. I did not. To be honest, I asked some people to support and help, but the support and help, if it's not their dream, they're not gonna go the extra miles. But it's my dream, so I'm like, I'm going the extra miles. Like, I'm running this race while still working a full time job, while doing the single motherhood life, while teaching at NOCA, while establishing this relationship with Southern University. Like, I am still running the race, and
Sure.
not everyone's gonna run with you. They're gonna go back. So,
Hmm.
prayerfully, and this being intentional, I'm
Yes.
praying for a solid team, because the only
Sure.
way it's going to get bigger is that if I have a team. So the
Yes.
altering is like, yeah, bring the team. I don't think I need a solid 10. I think I just need a solid 3, to be honest.
Right. 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 Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
because it's not about the numbers; it's the quality of the team members and what they can do and bring.
Dude,
So that's
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And then my clarity of what I need too, because when you're in the ocean and you're swimming and you're doing the work, sometimes you're not as clear about what you need until you can put your head out the water and see and take a breath and go back in, and then, I know I gotta do this, right? Or I see where
Sure.
I'm going. So the clarity of what parts of a team I need. It's a little bit more solidified. So even in the prayers of a team coming, I definitely know some of the parts I need the support in. You know,
Yes.
um,
Okay.
where I can I can be the leader I need to be. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to touch upon two more qualities
Mhm.
related to the solar plexus chakra, y'all. First, can you speak on how a calm disposition plays a part in your leadership style?
Yeah, I can speak on that. Sometimes people like, we don't know what you're thinking.
Ah, poker face.
Uh-huh. And I'm like, well, that's good because there's a lot of things going on in his head. But
Right?
it's just being grounded, like ground yourself. And because adding fire to fire would just be like combustible, like it's just going to explode.
Sure.
Somewhere you got to like be the grounding force, you got to be the water, you got to, you know, be able to stand in um, all the busyness that goes around you. Almost like think of like the avatar, you know, and
Yeah.
how he's in his globe and everything is swirling around, but inwardly, when you go inward, you're able to like assess what you need to do to move forward, right? And then go
Yes.
forward and move forward with confidence. Um, and that grounding is like who you are. I know I'm a black woman leader. I know I'm a black woman from the South who was raised in New York leader. Meaning, just for context, y'all,
Sure.
born and raised in New Orleans,
Yes.
okay? Born and raised. But I will say it over and over again. I grew up in New York. I like literally early 20s decided I'm at the undergrad, I'm going to New York. And I have my work ethic, my pulse, and who I am was developed in New York. So I'm
Yes.
back in New Orleans as this new configured being. So
Yes.
knowing who I am. And it's gotten me in places in New Orleans further than I would have ever imagined for myself for that reason alone. But
Okay.
knowing why I am doing the work, right? Why? What is that why? Right? And then always, what are you doing? What are you doing? When you go
Yes.
back to that and continue to ground yourself, then the calmness comes because you know that you know that you know that you know.
That you know.
There's no like that you know. There's no second guessing. There's
Yes.
no like the murmurs and the questions and the doubts and the naysayers. It's like, yeah, I get it, but I want to try this, and I'm
Yes.
gonna try it. And you're on my team, so we're gonna try this together.
Together.
You know, in my regular 9 to 5 director job, there's a lot of new programming that I'm pushing,
Okay.
and it's some of it is a little different, and you know, in that some people are hesitant, and I'm like, it's okay, grabbing like figuratively grabbing their hand, and we're walking and we're doing this together, and I'm gonna
Together.
help you, and then after that, I'm gonna release it to you because it's
Sure.
creative. And look, it's a success. Or look, it's not a success. So if it's not a success, what do we got to do to make this better?
Right. And so all of that can be because of you being centered and grounded and coming from a calm state. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, lastly, would you say that decision making comes easy for you, or are there times when you have to summon courage and rely on self empowerment to make and stick with tough decisions?
Um, there, I think I live in both worlds.
Yeah.
With being a Sagittarius, I can be very direct and straight, and I can say it was a definite yes, it was a definite no.
Yes.
Um, and then there are some things that's intuitively like in me that I feel like I could definitely say definitely yes or no. But there are some moments that I can honestly say where there are some decisions that I have to take a moment I have to reflect. I have to think the process through. I have to sometimes journal it or write it out, or chart it out, weigh out the pros and cons, or get advice. So
Right.
it's not always a simple yes or no. It's not always a simple task, especially when it's multi-layered and it affects communities and it affects people that you love or that you respect or that, and in my case of being back home, that you grew up under or grew up with,
Sure.
you know, um, because that's the reality of the situation. Now that I'm not the 18-year-old, 20-year-old Kelly anymore, I'm the 47, looking good for my age, by the way, the 47 year
Yes.
old who has this work and this ability to do this work. I have the skill set, I have the knowledge,
Yes.
and I have the experience. So I'm now thinking about my stakeholders in a different way, who were once my mentors and my teachers and my mamas are siblings of them in community. So
Sure.
I'm a part of a community, and I'm still a cultural leader. So they are always something I consider when I make decisions. So
Sure.
yeah, it's never an easy yes or no, but there are some things intuition wise that deep down inside, like, yeah, we gotta move forward and do this. No ifs, ands, or buts. So
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a pleasure just talking with you and you sharing your experiences and wisdom as it pertains to the solar plexus chakra. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for taking out the time. Please share with everyone social media platforms, your website, email address, etc. in case anyone would like to get in contact with you with any questions and or would like to attend your upcoming festival.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I want to say thank you, Tashik, because this
You're welcome.
was an amazing time and opportunity to talk and just be in community with you and share a
Oh,
space. I appreciate it. And also the questions that you posed made me really think about, some parts that just are innate and natural to who I am. And so
yeah.
it's great to give, the words and context to this information and also see, well, damn it, you're not doing too bad, girl. You're not doing too bad.
Right,
um,
right, right. Not at all.
so as far as it goes, people can find me on Instagram, Evolve Diaspora KS White. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Evolve Diaspora KS White. That's like where you can find out about classes and workshops, and also just see a little bit of my life. And then if you want to find out about the festival, it's Balbancha, Balbancha dance. Okay, Balbancha dance. And I would say, just to give context to the word Balbancha, that's the original name of New Orleans by indigenous people of Louisiana. And it means a land of many tongues. So
I love that.
Balbancha, the many tongues of dance, right? Balbancha.
Yes, I love that.
I
And
don't
is
think
that balbancha.org or .net or .com?
.com.
.com. Okay.
Yeah, and also on Instagram is Balbancha.
Balbanchadance.com, you guys. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, and also you can find Babancha Dance on Instagram too. So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's the major ways. You can always message me, direct message me through those platforms. My Facebook is Kelly White, but I also have a business page called Evolve Diaspora. Yeah, if you look at Kelly
Okay.
White, you're gonna see Morgan, Morgan. That's my family page. Yeah.
Got you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. And audience, thank you for tuning in. And I will see you next time on As the Chakras Spin. Peace and light.
Thank you for listening to As the Chakras Spin. You can find all episodes at TashiKDCooper.com. To learn the health of your chakras, you can schedule a chakra reading directly on my website. Until next time, peace.